Hey guys, we live in an era that has information overload. We have the ability, if we choose to look into stories to find if they're factual, to find if they're biased, to find if they're trying to spin us one way or the other. We have the ability to educate ourselves and to try to educate those around us to the truth. But in this information overload society, the majority of the people choose the easy path, the dumbed down path, to let infotainment wash over them, and they enjoy being propagandized to the point where Joseph Goebbels would be rolling over in his grave with joy, seeing what these mega media corporations have been able to do on behest of the too big to fail firms, this cabal of globalist bankers who've managed to literally get the world deeper into its clutches than in any time in the history of this planet, far exceeding the power and control that they brought to bear during the Great Depression of 29 to 33. It far exceeds that. The world is much, much more in peril because of this group, this international group of bankers. It's much more in peril now than it ever was in the history of mankind. We are about to have a mass awakening in this country and around the world, but unfortunately, it's not going to be an awakening to demand liberty. It's not going to be an awakening to take to the streets and hold responsible these criminal characters who've led to the destruction of the economy around the planet. It's going to be a mass awakening that you've been deceived, but you're going to be enchained and enslaved. You're going to have a crew, a cast of characters, 310 million people, and we have the same, 500 characters that control this country election cycle after election cycle. You're going to find out that they have betrayed you, betrayed this country. They've let the Constitution evaporate into nothing more than a memory, and they've sold your future for the campaign contributions of the same uber elite who brought you to where you're at right now. The art of collapse is hidden in the mainstream media. The art of collapse is obvious if you use this information available to you at your fingertips to find the truth. One piece of this is Hillary Clinton coming out today announcing as Secretary of State or letting it be known that we are in negotiations now to potentially have a foothold, military bases in Afghanistan for decades. Now, we were told at the beginning of this longest engagement in the history of the United States, we were there to root out the Taliban, the same people we supported when they were called Mujahideen fighting against the Soviet Union. We were there to rout them out, and rout them out we did in a few months' time. Now, this is parlayed into the longest military engagement in the history of this nation. We've killed the ultimate terror leader, Osama Bin Laden. At least that's what's reported to us by the mainstream media. Our mission accomplished. This guy's dead. We saw the evidence of the super top secret stealth helicopters crashing into the compound of Osama bin Laden. We were told they kicked him off the side of an aircraft carrier. Mission accomplished. So the news that's leaking out while other crises go on around the world is that we're going to have military bases there in perpetuity for decades at this point. We lose 2 more soldiers today in Iraq. Barely touches the headlines. But while we're spending blood and treasure around the planet on behalf of the same financial elite who are running the show, we're doing this for them, not for freedom, not for liberty, not to better the livelihood of the Afghan people or the people of Iraq or Libya or fill in the blank. We're not doing this for citizens of planet Earth. We're doing this to enrich a very select few that want their clutches sunk deeper into the flesh of the people of this planet. Now, while this is all going on, we have the same bankster-in-chief, Ben Bernanke, issuing yet another threat. Threat after threat after threat. If you made a threat to anybody in your neighborhood, your next-door neighbor, you could be hauled off and thrown into jail. Yet we have Ben Bernanke, we have Timothy Geithner issuing threats almost daily at this point, saying, give us another $2 trillion to get us past the next election cycle, to keep this war funded, to keep this corporatocracy running, another $2 trillion, or it will be financial Armageddon. It is time for you to realize that, you being awake is not enough. The information is there. You don't need anybody else to bring you the truth other than yourself. The best thing you could possibly do at this point Not that you're going to fix it, because their clutches are firmly wrapped around the neck of humanity. But the more people you wake up at this point, maybe, just maybe your friends, your family, your coworkers, your neighbors, maybe one of them can avoid the striking shock that's coming their way when the reality is hoist upon them that they've been sold down the river. If you want an example, look over at what's going on in Greece right now. Greece, this is a European nation that is as modern as any city-state in this country. And they are in absolute utter chaos right now because their gutless, spineless, corrupt politicians have done to them exactly what's happening to us in this country right now. It's time to use the information that is so readily available to continue to educate yourself and wake up your friends or family, just so they will avoid the sledgehammer of reality that's coming their way. Stories are attached. That's all I got.